Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12thman.com/maroon contest and register. Then one winner and a guest will receive game tickets, hotel accommodations, autographed memorabilia, and more. Register today. 12thman.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. This is the Buzz Williams Show. We are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Wonderful to see everybody again this week. Episode 11 of the Buzz Williams Show. And the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies is right here. Howdy, Coach.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And after Saturday, Buzz, I don't know what I enjoyed most. Obviously, enjoy the win. But I sure enjoyed the atmosphere and seeing a whole bunch of the 12th man in Baton Rouge, seeing all those families as well. Buzz getting a chance to enjoy that special night against LSU on Saturday.
Yeah, I had no idea until I came out to do postgame. Just because if Corey's not there, I'm not checking anything. Baby and the boys were sitting right behind the bench, so as soon as I walked out, I saw that they were fine, and then I never look. And then when we postgame, when I came out of the locker room to do radio, I was overwhelmed by how many people were there. The Reed Rowdy group, the baseball group, a lot of people. Yeah. And then obviously Dexter's family, Boots' family, Solo's family, Devin's family. There's four Louisiana natives that all grew up within about 60 miles of their campus. And so that was a great experience, but also a good memory for those four people.
I really wanted to ask you about Coach Dev because of those relationships, you get Boots and Dex and Solo.
Absolutely.
Right? And we've always talked about those relationships. And you're really comfortable as well, Buzz, allowing your coaches to not just coach but have those relationships as well.
Yeah, for sure. Those guys are for sure not here without Devin. Devin's mom is a pastor of a church that's 20 minutes from where we played. Devin's dad is a 33rd level Mason, which is the highest level. He's in charge of the state of Louisiana's Masons. He's the highest. There's stuff to it more than I know. I only know what his dad has taught me over the last, I guess I've known Devin 17 years now. And so, Devin's family's there. His wife and children traveled with us. His parents are there. Dexter's family was there. His sisters and dad joined us for the pregame that the entire Radford family made for us. So, yeah, I think it speaks to our program on a lot of levels. Similar to what you said, thankful that we won. But upon arrival, they were waiting on us. As you know, the Radfords have a framed picture of everybody in the program where they want them to sit on Friday night. Not just the players, the managers, the radio guys, the academic advisor. That level of care, that level of love, I don't think that you find that many places. So great memory for all of those people, but also a great memory for those of us to be able to be a part and witness that.
I've asked you before about having composure on the road when everyone's against you, having composure when you're home because you don't want to play to that crowd. There's another step to the composure about playing in front of family and making sure that you just stay in your lane, so to speak, right? Not try to do too much. And all those guys contributed. Solo was fantastic. I called it the Solomon Washington effect. It's what he's starting to have. But that was also very not professional, but it was almost methodical the way they played as well and didn't get caught up in having family and friends there.
Yeah, I told Solo at halftime I thought it was the most mature I'd seen him play ever in a half. And I told him after the game it was a sign of his growth that he didn't participate in the typical, I'm a freshman, I'm from down the road, my whole crew's here, let me show everybody that I'm a good player. He made winning play after winning play that didn't show up in the stat sheet. I think it's real emotional, I was a head coach for 12 years prior to coming here, and it was a rarity for either of my parents to be at the game. Mm-hmm. And so for your whole crew, your aunties and your uncles and your cousins and the people that claim that you're your cousins because you're winning games and shooting and making baskets, that's a lot, right, before the ball's ever tipped. And then to be able to handle the emotion of what we have been a part of over the last 6 weeks. In addition to that, I think it is a lot. And to be able to, as you said, to methodically still go about your business speaks to the growth of the program, but it also speaks to the growth of those people.
We'll have much more with Buzz Williams. This is the Buzz Williams Show, and we are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Stay with us. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. The Buzz Williams Show rolls on from Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Told you off the top that the Aggies 10-2 in the SEC, and that is second in the entire conference. And one of the reasons for the Aggies' success has been the rebounding success and how they have protected the rim, as Buzz has told me time and again, in shoot-around. And there's always a time that Buzz will tell me something that I just can't use in the pregame, so I kind of put it aside and know that I can run it during this hour. And right now, Buzz Williams talks about what goes into rebounding success, and that is rebounding effort.
In how we teach it, it's not the person that gets it. It's the responsibility of all five relative to on the rise of the shot. Everybody has a job. When you talk about most sports, you talk about offense, you talk about defense. In every sport, you probably have some level of special teams or special situations. I think what we've tried to do is create another category, and the other category is rebounding. And how do you go about a metric to measure it? How do you go about teaching it? And what is the difference in the teaching on the offensive end and then on the defensive end? And it's been a metamorphosis, to be honest, of how Coach Lair has been the key cog in all of this, and how he has taught me. And then we've kind of changed the words, and like even the clips that we showed, the rebounding effort report card, how they're judged, what the language is that we call when they do good, what the language is when they do bad. Like, our kids know that, and like it's all color-coded because it's such a priority in this game. We did rebounding effort in the first half against Missouri, report card with clips to show, and then we did another rebounding effort report card just of the second half and clips to show. And then we spliced in clips of USC on the glass, intermingled in that. And so I don't know for sure because we've only played 3 games, but for sure in the 3 games that we've played, our presence on both sides of the glass has been a category that's been arguably just as important as offense or defense. Because like you say, you can do really well prior to the shot being shot defensively and not get it and finish the possession. And you could also say the same thing offensively. If you're only getting 1 shot every time when you don't turn it over, and you never give yourself a chance to get extra possessions. So it's a game within a game, and I think our guys are taking that and receiving that to where it's becoming a part of the fabric of what we do.
You chart rebound plus minus,
yes,
but does that also go into the why things are happening? You can see why something happened because of the effort of everybody else.
Well, so like the rebounding effort, you know, you have to watch the rise of the shot, and all 5 guys have a job. So you watch the shot. Did Dexter do his job? Rewind it. Watch the same shot. Did Ford do his job? Rewind it. Did Henry do his job? Rewind it. Did Boots do his job? Rewind it. Did Jew do his job? So you have to watch each shot attempt on offense or defense 5 times so that you can do the report card. And then during the game, as I've mentioned to you before, particularly because we've planned out our script of how we're wanting to play in the first half, mini meeting at the 8-minute, mini meeting at the 4-minute on plus minus. There's probably, if I think about it for just long enough, I think there's 9 minutes of variable time. Best of Andy or Solo, best of Dre, H, or K. There's some variables in there, And we're doing that based off plus minus on rebounding. That's what makes our decision. Some of it, I guess, is subjective, but we want there to be as much evidence as possible because, like in this game tonight, when we had our roster meeting last night, I feel like any decision on who plays should be tilted towards who helps us on the defensive glass, because I think that's what this game will come down to. The glass will determine tonight's scoreboard. So we should make decisions on who allows us to rebound the ball and finish the possession with the rebound more often. You know, certain games, like when you play Missouri and they've scored over 80, 12 out of 15 games coming into the game, you know, hey man, we're going to have to score to win. Yes, we got to get stops, but you don't go into the game going, we're going to hold them to 23 points under their average. You go into the game going, we need to slow them down, but we're also going to have to score enough points to beat them. Whereas tonight, the number of possessions is going to be dramatically shorter. So now the value of that defensive rebound is more important, so to say, than, hey, we need somebody that can score. We need somebody that can rebound because they're 22nd in the country in offensive rebounding percentage.
And just before South Carolina, but that has applied to everything in the SEC. In fact, the Aggies overall are about a +7 when it comes to rebounding in the conference and about a +6 or so when it comes to the conference games. And just a quick comment, I think early in that LSU game, Buzz, at some point LSU missed 5 shots and each Aggie on the floor had 1 rebound. Dex had 1, Boots had 1, Henry had 1, Jew had 1, Wade had 1. And when you get that kind of effort, when you get that kind of start, it seems to be good things for the rest of the game.
Not many clean, what we call clean rebounds in the SEC. It just means that very rarely is a ball just going to drop in your hands and you cleanly got the rebound. It's a very unclean game on the glass. It seems like, was that in between game number 4 and number 5?
Missouri and South Carolina. That was the morning of South Carolina.
In 2013?
2023.
Because it sounded like in my voice I had like just great energy. Like, wow, man, let's go. I'm excited.
Yeah. You know why?
Because, and I don't think my voice sounds like that.
No, shoot around went great, and you were thrilled to see me.
10 years later.
Is what you were. That was it. Or you just talked to Dr. Thornton. One or the other. I'm not sure.
Played, that was before South Carolina?
Yeah, it was.
We played pretty good.
Really
Maybe
good.
we ought to play that clip again.
I'll be sending it
Maybe
Wednesday.
That's good juju that you're playing it before we played Arkansas.
He is Buzz Williams, and this is the Buzz Williams Show. More to come. Stay with us. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. All Hands Craft Cocktails is a new bar-strength canned cocktail made with 6 times distilled vodka and 10% ABV to make sure you never have to sacrifice the quality of your drink. All Hands Craft Cocktails, founded by Aggies and a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. We continue with the Buzz Williams Show from Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Arkansas on Wednesday at Reed Arena, 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 Dos Equis tip-off show. At Missouri on Saturday, 5 o'clock tip. We're out of that 7:30 window, which has kind of served us pretty well. 4:30 will be the tip-off Dos Equis tip-off show. And on Wednesday, in the Turnabout is Fair Play department, Jim Schlossnagel will be joining us, head baseball coach, for a segment of that game. You were kind enough to join us in the baseball booth while baseball made their run, regional, super regional, and Omaha. Schloss wants equal time, so he's going to come out on Wednesday.
Let's Schloss do the game. He's a star.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I don't know anything about baseball, but I know as a human being and as a leader, he's a star.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let him do the game. You can sub out.
I can.
You sit over there by Mr. Roberts. That's where he sits over there on the.
Yeah, they're right under the stanchion. They're right by the bench.
I'll tell Mr. Roberts that you and your wife can sit over there.
Okay. Deal.
You can kind of.
Laura, you got that?
Schloss may know as much about basketball as he does baseball, but if for some reason he's unsure what to say, just Coach Thornton will, they'll figure it out together. A couple of coaches, they'll figure it out. You just need to have the person that's telling them when to go to commercial when to go to commercial.
That is important. Now, Schloss said if he joins us, he's only going to talk 1980s Big East and ACC basketball.
Yeah, he told me this one time because Coach Drizel is my friend, and George Raveling, who's a very close friend of mine. Coach Raveling worked for Coach Drizel at Maryland. And Coach said that he used to go to Coach's camps. And Coach Drizel is 80, I think he's 87 or 88. He wrote me last week.
Did he?
And I talked to Coach Raveling a couple of times a week. But, yeah, I can't remember the name of the town he's from. Coach Schloss, I can't remember the name of the town he's from in Maryland. But
not far from Hagerstown.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
I don't think that's exactly.
I'm not saying I don't think it's Hagerstown either, but I'm not saying that I know the name of it, but I don't think it's Hagerstown. But
because when people ask me, is he an Orioles fan? He said, no, when I got the last name I have the last name Schlossnagel. I like the guy who had a name similar to mine, Yastrzemski. So he was a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, and I think did Coach used to coach at Tulane?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's where he and Rock met.
Yeah, and him and Rock are really, really close. And so when we were coaching at Virginia Tech, Rock would always talk about Schloss. And then, obviously, we come here, and when they hired Schloss, J-Mo asked me to go meet him prior to the press conference. So the day before, Rock tells me that Schloss is getting the job. And I was like, well, how do you know who's getting the baseball job? And he had to remind me of the long-time relationship with Schloss. And so that's kind of allowed me to get to know Coach probably a little quicker than normal. He texts me after every game, home or on the road, of which I genuinely appreciate. And, I'd let him do the game.
That's what he's surprised. It's supposed to be after the first media timeout. When I take the headset off and walk away, he's going to be surprised.
But I do think that, I think that we're undefeated when Coach is at the game in the seat next to Mr. Roberts.
Ooh.
So have Coach Thornton keep up with the ATO score.
Yeah.
And if we don't win, he needs to go back to his seat.
You got it.
If we're winning, he can take your place.
That's the deal. That is the deal on Wednesday when the Aggies take on Arkansas. We'll talk about that game and more about this Aggie team when we return to the Buzz Williams Show here at Rudy's. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. Hey, not everyone is a morning person yet, but with Costa Vita's new breakfast tacos, everyone will be. Try our bacon, egg, and cheese, or specialties like the machaca beef and egg, or sweet pork, egg, and cheese. Don't you take that picture till I'm done. Stop by our drive-thru any day from 7 to 10:30 a.m. Order online through the Costa Vita app or website. Become a morning person at Costa Vita. I wasn't looking. Wait a second. Alan, you've got to take this picture. Look. Texas A&M School of Nursing. One more picture, and I'll be looking. Ready? I got the headsets on. We're doing Buzz's show, but we're taking a picture. Everybody move in. Howdy, Facebook. We know you're watching behind the mic. Thank you, Alan. Thank you all for being here. We got a gift and everything. Fantastic. There's an Andrew in the group. Leroy brings everybody out. Oh, okay. See? Seeing it on Facebook. And they all moved out. Here we are, Buzz. We're back to our show.
I don't know.
It's never dull.
It's working.
It's never dull, right? Never dull. Buzz, the atmosphere at Reed Arena has been fantastic.
Yeah, incredible.
Love to see that, and
it's about to be a hard ticket to get.
It is.
We're not there yet, but it's getting closer.
No. And I love to see it. I love that your team appreciates it. I love how the fans have responded, and Buzz, in a way, they play. It fits Texas A&M because they appreciate the defense they play. They appreciate first on the floor. They appreciate all the airtime is our time,
sure,
to use our phrase. And it's nice to have that identity. And absolutely loved what you said after LSU when you were talking to the team and talking to Dr. Thornton and me. You feel that confidence, and you said it is leaking. And this team, this joy for one another, Buzz. If everybody did it, then I don't think it would stand out. But everybody doesn't do it, Buzz. And you're appreciative, but you're also very much appreciative that when it's time for them to work, they work. Like, you all think the game's going to tip off at 8. The work has already begun for that game.
Sure.
They do that all the time. And the nicest thing is they're seeing those results.
Yeah, we're thankful for the results, and we understand how important they are. We're never trying to negate that or act like it's not important. But I think where we've grown the most is being absorbed and consumed with how to go about our work and let the result be a byproduct of all of the work. And then trying to find the delicate line of being mature enough to understand that we're not doing shift work, right? That's what I talked to him about a couple of weeks ago is, sometimes you have a job and you work a shift. You work from 7 a.m. To 3 p.m. and you work from 3 p.m. to midnight. This is not shift work. Right. The work goes on. And so how can you, regardless of result, good or bad, how can you be mature enough to move on knowing that the work continues? And I understand maniacal is sometimes associated with work, but similar to what we were talking about post-game, how along the path of the work can you have joy and the joy not be dependent upon the results, and let the joy come from the relationships. Like Q was texting me today, and he just said, I wanted to say I love you. And he kept going, and I kept going, and his mom texted me today. And like I was telling Q, he's in the NBA now.
Yes, he is.
And how long does that last and all of that. Q, you can't control any of that.
Right.
You're at work. What can you do in your work to be a little better today? Not who they traded, not how much you're going to get paid, not how long you're going to play in the NBA or back to the G League. No, you can just do now. And it requires an inordinate amount of discipline and diligence to say, I'm just going to be accountable and responsible for now. We can't play the game until Wednesday at 8. Mm-hmm. And like I was telling the guys, we're always talking about reps. And so we finish practice at whatever time, 5 o'clock. Hey, guys, in 51 hours, big game right here, big game. But how can we cheat a rep tonight at 8 o'clock? What can you do for 8 minutes tonight at 8 o'clock to fill your tank up physically, mentally, and emotionally? Because in 51 hours, it will take everything that we have. We haven't beat them.
Right.
How can we be our best? So we talk about first rep, second rep, etc. How can we cheat a rep at 8 o'clock to fill ourselves up? Is there something you can do that makes you a little bit better tomorrow, that gives you a little bit more confidence that can come only from your work? And so I told him, I said, at 8 o'clock, I'll be driving home from my radio show, and I will turn every phone off, every radio off, and I will give 8 minutes to how can I fill my tank up. And, yeah.
You talk about outside distractions. Saturday was the perfect example of that. All heck is breaking loose in the SEC. You can't do anything about any of those other games except what you're doing against LSU.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I think a president said it. You could argue there's a book that's been around for a long time that talks about it. Mow your own grass. Corey and I didn't argue. Maybe we argue once every 5 years, but she was telling me as my head coaching career was unfolding, sweetie, we probably should hire somebody to mow our grass because, I might be gone recruiting or I'm working 18 hours a day and the grass gets a little too high and it doesn't look like the way the grass is supposed to look. No, we're not hiring somebody to mow our grass. I mow our grass. It has nothing to do with my title. It has nothing to do with my salary. I grew up with a lawn business as a high school kid to pay my way to college. I'll mow my own grass. And I was telling our guys that the other day, hey, man, mow your own grass. We can't listen to Twitter. We can't listen to Joe Lenardi. He's getting paid by multiple people. He does not want Texas A&M and what I said last year. I did what I felt convicted to do. I understood when I did it what it was about and the consequences of it at that time and the consequences for the rest of my career. That's over. Mow your own grass. Not who won, not who are we playing, not where did they play, who's the net, who's Ken Pom. Nah, mow your grass. And when do you mow your grass? You mow your grass today.
Yeah.
We're not comparing. It's of something we can't control. Anytime you're comparing, it's just that's why I quit social media February the 1st. I can't let that in my soul because my brain, the dopamine just goes, oh, it's this and it's that and it's this, and I want to start controlling whether I can or not. I start acting like I can. No, mow your own grass.
Yeah, like
mow
you
your
said,
own grass.
it makes you anxious, and it's a great description.
And I don't think that you can lead. I can't lead from a place of anxiousness. I can't lead young people from a place of anxiousness. I need to play hide and go seek as much as I can throughout the day where I can hide from people because I don't need to give my energy to people that I'm not in charge of leading. And I need to hide so I can fill my gas tank up so when I see our staff, when I see our players, I can give my best. And the only way I can give my best is to have peace. And everybody gets peace from a different place, and I get that. But it makes no sense to seek peace and crave anxiousness or feed yourself anxiousness.
It'll always be at odds, right, if you're trying to do that.
It's fear and love. They don't go in the same bucket.
Absolutely not. He is Buzz Williams. More of the Buzz Williams Show. We've got some questions for Coach when we return. This is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. Basketball and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood, and Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs. 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. Our home for the Buzz Williams Show is Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. And it is question time.
I have a question for you.
Oh, for me?
I didn't write it down.
Okay.
Was I supposed to turn it in? Is there a protocol?
No.
When you eat banana pudding, do you eat the bananas?
Do I eat the banana, like in with the pudding, or bananas separately, or in with the pudding?
Yeah, when you eat banana pudding at your grandmother's house, do you eat the bananas?
Yes.
And when you eat peach cobbler, do you eat the peaches?
Yes.
Okay. I was just trying to find out what kind of person you were.
Okay.
And when your wife makes queso, do you use a spoon to dip the queso to drizzle it on top of the chips? Does she make you pour it into another bowl and then you use the chip and dip it in the bowl? Or do you take the chip and in the pan that she cooked the queso in, you dip it? Which of those three? And now this answer, it speaks on levels that everybody will understand.
So when she's not looking, I will take the dip and I will put it in. I'll take the chip and put it in the dip. That's when she's not looking.
In the pan that she cooked it in.
In the pan, because you have to try it. Cooks should always taste their food, right? Do that. But I don't double dip. When she is looking, I am a chip dipper into putting it on the side. Same way with
I'm saying you put it on the side on a plate, or you put it in like a normal bowl.
Almost like a bowl. There'll be two bowls. If you you need to know Laura a little bit better. She loves bowls. She absolutely loves bowls. But I'll have the bowl of chips, bowl of dip, chip into dip.
And it's only Monaco's chip bowl and queso bowl.
Yeah.
And now, the queso pan is still on the stove.
Right. Now, if you're asking this Italian, have I ever dipped bread into, and we called it gravy growing up, by the way.
Yes, it is gravy.
Yeah. The bread would go in, but my mom allowed me to get away with that. Yeah.
And do you have siblings?
Yeah, yes, I have 5 of them. Yeah.
And are you the youngest or the oldest?
Second youngest.
That's probably your mom was probably so tired. She's probably just like, let him do whatever.
Buzz, I got away with murder.
Hey man, you can put the bread in the gravy. I'm so tired.
I got away with murder. You know what it was like coming back from college, and when she said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want gravy and I want meatballs." That's what I want.
Where did you go to college?
Maryland with Lefty Drizel.
Oh, did you really?
Lefty was there. Lefty coached when I was there.
Wow.
And George Raveling, I listen to him speak anytime.
He's as good a speaker as there is in the world.
Great coach.
Can still speak.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Steve wants to know, how hard is it to keep the guys rested and to stay sharp?
Yeah, really hard.
The season.
Really hard. We 2 weeks ago, 2 Thursdays ago, we changed some things relative to their physical rest. It was really good. Last Thursday, we did the same thing. And the reason it was Thursday is because the last 2 Thursdays we have played on Tuesdays of those weeks. So Wednesday was our day off. The first Wednesday that we were off that I'm speaking of was after the tour of Southwest America, where we got home from Fayetteville at 5 a.m. That was after the original tour prior to the tip-off. So on that Thursday, that's what started it. Then this past Thursday, we played at home on Tuesday. We were off on Wednesday. So we added a component to that new regime on Thursday. This week, we're back to Wednesday, Saturday. So based off the last 2 weeks, today is basically Thursday. And that's what we did today. And it's been a good change of pace. I think our kids appreciate it. And so we did our 3rd rep of it today, and arguably our best rep. And at halftime, we kind of create halftime so we can practice halftime. At halftime today of this new thing, I made every employee go sit in the end zone where the students sit, and I made the players do what the players were doing on the opposite end, the way it happens in the second half, because I didn't think we were very good communicating in the second half against LSU. So we're going to go to the other end. We'll holler at you from here in case you can hear us, but you guys need to communicate better, and y'all work on that, and we'll work on this. And that was a new thing today. It was pretty good. Our guys were really good, actually as good as they've ever been. So when we got back together, I was like, guys, you don't need to be that good. I got to make sure I can pay the light bill. Y'all don't. If somebody saw this, they wouldn't think y'all need any coaches.
You start coaching yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
What do we need Buzz for? Ian's going to hit you with this one. Ready? What part of your life now would surprise college student Buzz the most?
How narrow of a lane I live in. This will be the only time I'm out in public all week. I would have never thought that. Even early in my coaching career, I would have never thought that. I wake up really, really early. I go straight to the office. I never leave the office once I'm at the office. I eat my meals there. And then when I'm done with my work, I go home. If one of my children are playing a game or doing something, then I'll try to move heaven and earth relative to my schedule to be able to be at as much as I can, but that's it. I didn't know that it, as fun as it is and as cool as it is and as much that comes with it, you don't realize that as you progress, how narrow the world, not the figurative world, how narrow the figurative world is that you live in.
Yeah, it's interesting because, and yet you're still tugged by a number of different things. You just have to shut them out, right? They can't pull you.
Somebody was I quit responding to texts because I can't keep up with them. I never answer my phone.
But there's always time for Q. Right?
Yeah,
or those players.
Yeah, if it's somebody on Team Bus One, I'm texting and talking. But, like, hey, Coach, will you do this serious interview on SEC? No, can't do it. Busy. I say no so that I can say yes to what matters the most. But as a college kid wanting to be a college coach, I had no idea. You know, you think, oh, he's here and he's there and he's doing this and he's doing that. No. I'm at my house. It's Sunday. The one guy over here was asking me about the Super Bowl last week, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch it. Where are you going to watch it? In my living room.
Right.
Like, I'm not, so I'm not complaining.
No.
I'm very thankful for my family. And if I had a choice, I want to be with them over anybody else because of how much I work. So not complaining, but as a college student, had no concept of that whatsoever.
And you had to learn to be a head coach, right? As an assistant, and then at New Orleans, Marquette, Virginia Tech. Are you still learning here at A&M?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to learn. It's probably one of my favorite things. But you never arrive. And as soon as you there's Nikki Giovanni had a quote, Josh. What was it? And Ryan Holiday wrote it on his magnet. When you think you know it all, you stop learning, or something of that ilk. You know what it is, Josh? Yeah, Nikki Giovanni taught me, once you know who you are, you never have to worry anymore. And then Ryan Holiday taught me, it's on my magnet. I'll think of it.
Is it along the lines of it's what you learn after you know it all?
Yeah, it's along that line.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's along that line. Got to keep learning.
We have one more segment on this episode of the Buzz Williams Show. We'll preview Arkansas on Wednesday. That's when we return to Rudy's. This is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. We continue with the Buzz Williams Show here at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Here's what's ahead for the Aggies this week. Arkansas is at Reed Arena. That is a Wednesday 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 with our Dos Equis tip-off show. Missouri on Saturday from Missouri. 5 o'clock is the tip, 4:30 with the Dos Equis tip-off show. Two more mirror opponents for the Aggies. Although Wednesday is going to be the first time the Aggies will take on a mirror opponent after losing the first matchup. Arkansas, Buzz, you go over all of them from their point guard, number 0. That's Anthony Black. He's got a lot of length. Devontae Davis, number 4, has a lot of experience. Ricky Council, number 1, can score. And they get number 3, Nick Smith, back. Nick Smith Jr. played against Mississippi State. But that's a tough challenge when you take on Arkansas, isn't it?
They beat us from start to finish. Coach Musselman is a Hall of Fame coach. He spent more time at the highest level than he has in college and has won over 73% of his games since he's been in college. Has done a fabulous job. Their talent is as good as anybody in the country. I mean, they were 10th in the country at Christmas. So they are ultra talented. Number 3 is back.
Yeah.
And based on people that judge talent, they say he's a lottery pick in 5 months. And so I think his injury has kind of changed the dynamic of their team when it happened. And then they got in a groove, and I think they won 4 out of 5 while he was gone in the last stretch. And now he's back. He played 17 minutes, and they played him with those 3 perimeter guys that you mentioned.
Wow.
And so that completely changes the complexion of their team, not only in what they're doing offensively, but what we should do or what we should think about. And the same thing on the glass and the same thing defensively. They're as talented as any team in the country, and as talented as for sure anybody in our league.
Nice thing last week is Manny Obaseki is now that much closer to coming back, is he not?
It's just hard to say. He got released on Friday, and release just means the doctor said you can't break it again, which is good. That's the first step. Obviously, we were gone on Saturday, and so we've tried to develop a plan for him over the next couple of weeks. Like, he's just been out for so long, right? And it's not as if while he was out he could do anything.
Right.
He could dribble a ball with his right hand, but it wasn't like he was on the court with all the new plays. It wasn't like he was staying in condition. It wasn't like he could lift weights. Well, he could lift weights with one hand, so we're just trying to develop a plan through our medical support team on how can we put him in a position over the next 10 to 12 days to kind of here and there he does a little bit more with each passing day. Skill work, back in the weight room, doing some conditioning on the court, doing more individuals. You know, he can join shooting with Buzz again. And so he just needs to get back in the groove before we even address, hey, here's the 22 plays we've added since you were there, and here's the things that we're doing defensively. Now, he's been at every meeting. He's been at every practice. He's a beautiful human being, and he's handled all of this in such a good way. But when you're not getting real reps and you're only getting mental reps, those are important. They count. But for a player to be gone for over a month, that's hard, no matter what sport you're in.
Absolute pleasure, Buzz. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys so much. Absolutely. We appreciate you guys coming.
Buzz Williams, head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, 18-7 overall, 10-2, all alone in second in the SEC. Again, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, Reed Arena. Hope to see you in that building. If not, join us all along the network. 7:30, the Dos Equis tip-off show, the Aggies and the Arkansas Razorbacks, and then Missouri Saturday at 5. Nate Strope has been the producer of the Buzz Williams Show in our Learfield studios. Kevin Menchow is our engineer. For head coach Buzz Williams, I'm Andrew Monaco. We thank you so much for joining us. As always, wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining us all along the network. We'll talk to you Wednesday evening from Reed Arena. This is Aggie Basketball.